I think we are ready to start. So very warm welcome for all of the participants and speakers joining us today's webinar. My name is Yuliya Melnyk. I'm the Deputy Director at European Business Association in Ukraine and the head of UK chapter of Global Business for Ukraine. And it is my great pleasure today to be the moderator of this wonderful event that we are going to have today. We are going to discuss the business opportunities in Ukraine for Scottish companies, and we are very glad that so many Scottish representatives of business have joined this webinar. Maybe just to start with some organizational information, I would really ask you all to mute yourself, not to disturb what will speakers and our guest will be telling us. You will have the opportunity to ask questions right after each presentation from each speaker. Please use the chat of the Teams for that. Also, our webinar will be recorded, and all the participants who have registered will receive the link and will be able to download the recordings of this webinar. I would also like to say that today's webinar is organized by the BDO in Ukraine and the Scottish Parliament Cross-Party Group on Ukraine, in cooperation with the Scottish Parliament and the NAZOVNI program, the NAZOVNI platform. It is also supported by the Consulate of Ukraine in Edinburgh, Scottish Enterprise, the Glasgow Chamber of Commerce, the Edinburgh Chamber of Commerce, and the Global Business for Ukraine. So thank you very much for all of those organizations and institutions that have supported our today's webinar. We would like to start with some welcome speeches, and let me welcome Anna Kulish as our first speaker. Anna is the chair of the Business and Economy Work Group on the CPG on Ukraine. She focuses on the strengthening of the economic ties between Scotland and Ukraine by supporting the Ukrainian business entering the Scottish market and vice versa. She helps Scottish businesses to help the market and deal with all of the challenges that they face when they do so. We also would like to thank Anna and the entire team for the efforts in organizing the trade mission that just recently happened. That was the mission of the Ukrainian delegation to the Scotland, which happened just last May. This was the first one, and this mission has demonstrated that there is a huge interest from the Scottish businesses and organizations in operating in Ukraine, so that is very timely. Anna, you're welcome for the welcome speeches.
Thank you, Yuliya, for the kind of introduction and for moderating today's session. I am the secretary of the Cross-Party Group on Ukraine in the Scottish Parliament, which is the CPG. The CPG on Ukraine is dedicated to promoting cultural, political, educational, and economic links between Scotland and Ukraine, including engagement between parliamentarians of both nations. In 2024, we also established a dedicated working group on business and economy, which I chair. Our main focus in that group is on strengthening economic ties between our nations by supporting the business aspirations of the displaced Ukrainian community in Scotland, facilitating the entry of Ukrainian businesses to the Scottish market, and reciprocally supporting Scottish businesses seeking opportunities in Ukraine. This also ties into our commitment to support Ukraine's recovery efforts. I am a firm believer in Ukraine's speedy recovery and in the beneficial role Scotland can play in that process. But the time to seize these opportunities is now. In this context, we warmly welcome not only the UK-Ukraine 100 Years Partnership, but also the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Scottish Government and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, which took place very recently on the 28th of May. I am convinced that such cooperation is not charity, it is an opportunity, mutually beneficial, rooted in innovation, and strategically important for both sides. And to help convey this opportunity directly to businesses, we co-organized this session. A heartfelt thank you to all of our speakers and to moderator for taking the time out of your busy schedules to share your insights into doing business with Ukraine and into doing business with Ukrainian. Thank you as well to all of our participants for your interest and engagement. And of course, special thanks to our partners and to BDO Ukraine for your collaboration and hosting today's event. I hope you all enjoyed the session, discover new opportunities in doing business with Ukraine, and moreover, benefit from them in the near future. Ukraine's reconstruction is already underway. In destruction lies the chance to rebuild differently, smarter, cleaner, and modern, not just in theory, but in practice, through investment, innovation, and trust. This is the spirit of the memorandum. It's not just a slogan. It is a challenge, but it is also an invitation. So let's accept it. Yuliya, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anna. Let's go on and invite Scott Strain. Scott is the head of trade promotion policy at the Scottish government, and he plays a pivotal role in strengthening economic and trade relationships between Scotland and Ukraine. His leadership is instrumental in facilitating Scottish businesses' engagements with Ukraine, particularly in the context of ongoing reconstruction efforts. And Scott also played a crucial role in organizing the last visit in May. So thank you very much, Scott, for this, and you're welcome for the welcome speech.
Thank you so much, Yuliya. That's far too kind. It's a team effort for everyone working on the Rebuild Ukraine conference the other week. It was an absolute honour to be working with that. And yes, my name is Scott Strain. I am the head of export promotion policy at the Scottish Government, and I lead on the export strategy for all the work that we do internationally, and where we try and help support our companies. Just recently, we updated our priority markets for our export strategy, and Ukraine was added as what we call a special interest market, and that allows our agencies such as Scottish Development International, who are our economic development agency for Scotland, to work more proactively with Scottish companies and to explore opportunities that are in Ukraine at the moment. We also work very closely with our UK government colleagues in the Department of Business and Trade, who have a presence in Ukraine and are also in Poland too, as well. We also have strong relationships with UK Export Finance as well, who are able to provide insurance and guarantees as well to companies looking to export to Ukraine. It was a pleasure to be involved in the Memorandum of Understanding and helping draft that with the Ukrainian government. I really think it gives us a very important and useful framework, which will be very good for us to progress our future relationships with Ukraine. I think the starting point of the Rebuild Ukraine conference, the 3-day program that we put together just the other week, was very, very helpful in that first step in exploring the art of the possible. This webinar and future webinars will be very instrumental in helping us understand more clearly what those opportunities are, and we're proactively looking at trying to take a trade mission from Scotland to a Ukrainian-focused conference, perhaps a Rebuild Ukraine conference in Warsaw later this year in November, and we'll be speaking to the Scottish Chambers of Commerce about that shortly. So there's lots to get through, so I will pause there and make way for other speakers. But thank you so much for all the great work that BDO have been doing to help us understand the great opportunities that are there in Ukraine.
Yes, thank you so much, Scott, and for all of the efforts that the Scottish and the UK government does in support of Ukraine. That is very much valuable. We do very much support, and thank you for this, for everything that you do. Let me also invite Vira Savchenko. Viktoriia is the Senior Manager at Export-Import Support Department of NAZOVNI platform. This is a digital service that is initiated by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Ukraine. The platform aims to assist Ukrainian businesses in entering new markets with the support of the diplomatic institutions in more than 120 countries. In her role, Viktoriia is responsible for managing the exporters support department, where she provides guidance to Ukrainian exporters, helping them navigate international markets to connect with potential partners like UK, Scotland, and others. Viktoriia, welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Viktoriia, and I'm pleased to introduce you to NAZOVNI, a government-backed platform that was created with institutional and informational support of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine. It is a key part of Ukraine's long-term strategy to attract reliable international partners, especially now, as the country focuses not only on resilience during wartime, but also on strategic reconstruction and economic renewal. And our platform is designated to connect foreign businesses with trusted Ukrainian partners and to provide direct support through our global diplomatic network, embassies, consulates, and trade missions, all working together to help your business enter and grow in Ukraine. And what makes NAZOVNI especially valuable is that it is simple, practical, and already proven to work. Over the past 3 years, NAZOVNI has shown tangible success. We have signed over 500 international business contracts. Nearly 3,000 Ukrainian companies have already registered on the platform. They are all verified and actively seeking international collaboration. More than 500 businesses have received support through NAZOVNI to participate in international exhibitions and trade shows, helping to raise Ukraine's profile globally and build real commercial ties. And in other words, NAZOVNI is not just a theoretical tool, it is a functioning, effective mechanism that helps businesses connect, grow, and build trust across borders. And for Scottish companies, this means a direct and secure channel into one of the most dynamic and resilient markets in Europe. And Ukraine's reconstruction effort offers enormous potential across sectors like infrastructure, green energy, digitalization, agri-tech, and education, areas where Scottish innovation and experience are highly relevant. And with NAZOVNI, you don't have to approach this opportunity blindly or alone. You'll be supported every step of the way by an official government network. So I encourage you to visit our platform, submit your request, and let us help you explore the real opportunities that Ukraine has to offer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Viktoriia. I'm sure that our participants will go and check all of the opportunities that NAZOVNI platform has to provide for the companies. So now I'm very glad that we had the speakers that with the welcoming speeches, and we are moving to the first presentations that we will have today. The first one, which will focus on the current situation in Ukraine, the general overview. Let me invite the Andrii Borenkov. Andrii is the head of advisory at BDO in Ukraine. We can see now his presentation. Andrii leads a team of experts advising local and international companies on their business strategy, financial management, and market expansion. Andrii has extensive experience working both with Ukrainian businesses and foreign investors, providing insights into the country's economic landscape and offering strategic guidance on entering and operating in Ukraine's market. Andrii will provide an overview, the general overview of the situation in Ukraine. He will focus on economic stability, the role of international aid, and the ongoing recovery efforts in sectors like housing, healthcare, and education. His presentation will provide you with a clear understanding of the challenges and opportunities for foreign business operating in Ukraine during the war. And I just want to remind you that if you have questions, you can write them in the chat, and right after each presentation, we will be able to ask those questions to the presenters. Andrii, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, as it was mentioned, my name is Andrii Borenkov. I'm head of advisory at BDO in Ukraine. And when we are going to any kind of international conferences and meet our friends abroad, they usually ask, how are you? Or how is Ukraine? How it's doing? And I would try to make a short presentation on this, and probably with more analytical background on that. So let's start and try to explain everything in 10 minutes. Let's see if I would be successful here. So current situation in Ukraine, if we would have an overview, we can take 4 major layers. One of these layers is frontline. You may assume active battle actions and FPV drones as a factor. Lots of containment efforts near the Dnipro region and Sumy region offense, ceasefire, speculation, strategic outlook. We will discuss it a bit later. Second part is infrastructure, steady recovery, which is underway. Thousands of homes and public building already restored, but like lots of work to do. Backed by global partners and the dream system. Ukraine is building smarter, not more transparent infrastructure. So like build back better principle, also in use. The third part is our economy, still strong banking system, slight decrease in planned GDP growth, and we'll explain it a bit later. Controlled state budget and public debt, thanks to international support. Fourth part is aid to Ukraine. Total international aid reached almost 42 billion. It's without military component, just direct and indirect budget support. Grants and military support remained vital, helping Ukraine cover its budget deficit and sustain economic stability during wartime. So all 4 things we'll cover in next 8 minutes. First of all, probably you see this map. It's our project Deep State Map, which trying to look into all the changes on battlefield. So we have still active battle actions more or less over all the front line, which is red with like all these troops marked on the map. So our maneuver defense has proven to be highly effective, largely due to advantage in FPV drones usage. Russia still outnumbered us in terms of soldiers and even drones, but more creative use of drones. For example, probably you saw the recent attack over Russian strategic airports. That's a good example how to use drones when you are outnumbered. Ukraine is focusing on stabilizing the front, creating so-called kill zones. It's a new term from this war when you create a relatively wide zone when no one can leave for like 5 minutes, thanks to drones, and that's kind of additional control measurement and front stabilization. Russian forces are attempting to push towards the Dnipro region, with some units reportedly positions from like 2 to 5 kilometers from administrative border. But you need to understand that first of all, despite the Russia like moving almost each day, it's still a very small distances, and it's like seems on larger map that front is more or less stable for probably almost 3 years. And that's important to understand that like lots of things they are closing to Dnipro region. In terms of real battle actions, it's like several kilometers and of advance near and like hundreds, thousands probably of potential losses for Russian forces. Tomorrow, we probably would have 1 million killed or injured Russian soldiers. Our militaries, they have the statistics. So by that's like an interesting fact that they have a so-called Russian day tomorrow. That's I can say it's as a present, but it's still reality. Sumy Oblast is also under attack. Estimated goals of Russian forces is to move close enough to Sumy to terror city with artillery and drones and pull Ukrainian forces from Donbass. But still, it's a threat, but it's not something new. So let's just stop here and say that despite all the Russian efforts in advance, a front in strategic term is more or less stable, and maneuvering defense is quite efficient. Regarding the strategic outlook and ceasefire speculation, that's a very important part because lots of people believe that at this point some kind of ceasefire probably possible. But I would say that it's possible, but probably not now. Russia still believes that they can advance, and they are the only party who can really stop the fire. And I'm not sure they're ready for that, but we still not came to the situation when they have so bad situation in their economy and in their military supply that they would decide to stop. But we believe that they could come to the situation in 2025 due to lack of resources. They spend almost all of their welfare fund, national welfare fund, and their ex-Soviet reserves almost finished. So probably we would have some more dynamics by the end of this year, but definitely not now. About our infrastructure, we still have lots of homes and other objects destroyed or damaged. It's almost 250,000. And now we are going to do a lot of things with this, thanks to all the support from international community. In 2025, we still need more than 17 billion, funded almost 7, so still 10 billion shortfall. Largest gaps in energy, housing, and transport. We still spend only like from 70 to 80% of planned funds in 2024, partially due to lack of resources, but we still have lack of absorption capacity. And lots of tenders were non-competitive, but it's not due to corruption, rather, as I said, due to lack of hands on the ground, unfortunately. So we would have this problem as well. But we implemented new public investment management system. We had DREAM platform aims to improve transparency. You can see like a diagram here, lots of projects which coming from different areas, starting from municipal level to state level, and public initiatives which coming to DREAM platform. And on this interception, we can have more than 300 projects identified as priority needs for almost 12 billion. So we believe that digital transformation in this area would definitely help to at least prioritize projects and avoid duplication. About our economy, our national bank downgraded GDP growth forecast. You may see on the table that in brackets we had like better forecast, but it's still like about 3 to 4% of GDP growth with moderate inflation, assuming the situation we still have in the country. So we are moving, but not that fast as we expected. And first of all, due to lack of resources, due to migration and mobilization as well. All-time high foreign reserves, it's more than 43 billion, thanks to international support. We believe that NBU quite flexible in their currency-related policies. So they probably will one by one remove a major part of currency restrictions, which could be a very important part for any kind of external investor. Our banking system remains very profitable, but it's, you know, some contradiction here, because usually banks that's who suffering from bad elections. But in our country, due to efforts of national bank to control inflation, they allow to purchase their own certificates and provide additional and more or less risk-free income for banks, but also our country imposing windfall tax for banks, 50% of their profits since 2023. And it's still good for banks and more or less acceptable for national bank. Our budget is still budget of war. About half of the state budget is spent on defense. And at the moment, like to be simple, we divided it like half and half military part, which is financed by Ukrainian taxpayers, and about half of lots of social needs and also civil part of the budget and recovery needs financed by donors. And that's like the only scheme working, because in other case we would need to decrease finance of our military needs, which is absolutely unacceptable. But I believe that we could have a very big change here when we are discussing with international donors that we can probably swap these parts, and Ukraine will finance civil part, and probably European Union and other countries who have their will to finance military part to increase its size. And let's just finish with this part. That's aid to Ukraine. As you may see that international aid to Ukraine only in 2024 reached 42 billion. That's this 50%, as I said, this part of our budget financed by donors. It's 29 billion in concession loans and almost 13 billion in grants. But if you would see cumulative aid for 2022-2024, it's definitely a much larger number. Like together with military aid, you provided more than 120, and you say about 100 billion of overall efforts. And United Kingdom is the third player with almost 20 billion of cumulative aid. So I think that key further questions here are Russian assets and their usage in rebuilding Ukraine. We see that lots of things going here, but still not expropriating of their assets, rather trying to interchange it with income from these assets, which is also a good move because it provided us with lots of additional support. And the second question I already rose, this finance of military part of Ukrainian budget by international donors to extend defense capacity. I believe that it would be, like my last comment, it would be a very good move, because at first stage, we won't be still restricted by only Ukrainian taxpayers in terms of our military support, assuming potential integration in European military union. I hope it will be created in the result of this war, and it's being created de facto. And the second part, if Ukraine would spend all the taxpayer money to civil part, that would increase the pressure on politicians to implement additional reforms, because in this case, we won't have any kind of reason of military, from military side, not to do reforms which could improve budget financing of civil part. So thank you very much. I would here stop the presentation. In case of any questions, we'd be glad to answer.
Thank you so much for the detailed information that you have provided, and let me invite your colleague, Vira Savchenko. Yeah, Vira Savchenko, the CEO of BDO in Ukraine. Vira is also the co-chair of the Ukraine's Recovery Committee at the European Business Association and leads an active role there. She plays a pivotal role in strategizing and implementing initiatives aimed at Ukraine's national economic revival. Vira also has been developing Sorry, just asking everyone to mute, please, if possible. Yes, thank you. Vira has also been developing resources such as Investor's Guide for Ukraine's Reconstruction and Interactive Investment Map, aiding and attracting foreign investments. Vira will provide an overview of strategic location of Ukraine and its potential as a market for investments. She will highlight sectors that offer significant opportunities, such as agriculture, IT, green energy, and infrastructure, and will discuss the ongoing recovery efforts in Ukraine and present the unique chance for the Scottish companies to engage in the rebuilding process that is currently happening in Ukraine. Vira, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much to all who joined online. Thank you very much, Andrii, for your presentation. And most of all, thank you very much to all Scottish people, to Scottish government, to Scottish private enterprises who continue to support Ukraine. It's really, really important for us. And I was a part of this business mission, which took place a few weeks ago, and the level of support is really great, and we from Ukrainian side really appreciate it. And support is important, but we need to move further. We need to find the ways to collaborate between Ukraine and Scotland, because Ukraine cannot rely for support and aid forever, and in mutually beneficial collaboration, both our nations can prosper. So I will share my slides. 1 second. And yeah, can you see my screen? Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. So I would start from some basic things, just to be sure that we are all on the same page, and understanding of Ukrainian opportunity is same for everyone. So sorry for those for whom this information may be obvious, but I will just make point on few crucial things. Ukraine is really has a good geographical position, and with Ukrainian EU accession, Ukraine already has a lot of trade preferences to our neighboring country, and this process will streamline and will be better. So right now, Ukraine already a big market as itself, and Ukraine has access to a much bigger market. We just made two almost circles here to show that within 1,000 kilometers there's a 250 million potential customers for different types of products, and within 3,000 kilometers opportunities is really huge. In terms of logistics, in terms of the trade agreements, this is really impressive number. So trade with Ukraine, it's not trade with a small number of people. It's really a big opportunity. Right now, population in Ukraine is changing. A lot of people live in country, a lot of people coming back. So in 2022, it was 41 million. So we all hope then when the situation will be safer in Ukraine, we can restore to these numbers, but still Ukraine is very intensely populated and in all regions. So just I will show a map of risks later, and Andrii already showed the deep state map, but just to say that do not presume that all people live either in Kiev or in western parts. Ukraine is populated from south to north, from east to the west, and even in frontline regions there are a lot of people, and therefore a lot of opportunity for collaboration and mutual business opportunities. I would not stay on the numbers about our GDP. Andrii covered this topic a lot. I would just say about our time zone. Our time zone is really convenient to work with whole Europe and with the United Kingdom. So this brings Ukraine as one of the potential destination for some outsourcing services. And Ukrainian IT services, for example, is really working in this direction, and the time zone is our advantage. Okay, I would like to stop a little bit on our investment potential. Right now, Ukraine has 24 free trade agreements with 46 countries. And our Ministry of Foreign Affairs and other representatives of governments of Ukraine work really hard to make more trade agreements. So we are intensifying our trade relationships, and you can see this even on the scale of trade mission to UK and Scotland, which was from Ukraine 2 weeks ago. Such trade missions from different industries, from different organizers with different participants, it's happening like on weekly basis. So and it's really increasing our potential for collaboration. Natural resource sector. As you all may heard in news, Ukraine just signed a mineral deal agreement with United States, and it's open big potential for development of Ukrainian natural resources. But also I wanted to say that please do not presume that all Ukrainian mineral deals, critical minerals by this deal is only open for US business. No, there are a lot of opportunities here for any investors from any other countries, and who have experience and who want to invest or somehow participate in Ukrainian critical resources, industry, extraction, and so on. I think this deal is strengthening potential of this industry. Large-scale market and skilled workforce. I already covered this topic. I just want to add this, that in Ukraine, we have a really high number of people with university education. It is historically our advantage, and Ukraine now is really trying to keep this advantage and even to make it more. Our universities are expanding. It's really popular in Ukraine to have a good education. Our universities attracting financing, and Ukraine is really country with high skilled workforce. Right now, not only universities are developing, we see a huge development in the field of vet schools. Also, big thanks to international community, international private sectors, which help Ukrainian education to sustain. And also we see now a lot of upskilling and reskilling programs from private sector. A lot of private companies making their upskilling programs in Ukraine in order to help Ukraine, in order to help Ukrainian labor forces to be competitive, and also in order to have staff they need. For example, a very famous example in Ukraine from a Swedish company Scania, they retrained women as drivers, and this really great example of collaboration and increasing investment potential and Ukrainian labor forces. IT industry. IT industry is developing everywhere and in the world, and Ukraine is not an exemption. And I just want to say that before the war, Ukraine had really good chances to be like a local IT and outsourcing hub. Unfortunately, right now we are seeing not only physical war, we are seeing cyber war, but all threats Ukrainians try to convert to opportunities. And right now, in my personal view, I think Ukraine is one of the most cyber-secured country in the world, because we had so much cyber-secured attack. Because of that, our IT sector, our government, all our other stakeholders are much advanced in our cybersecurity. This is a big thing for us, for all our ministries, for all our private sector, and just to be sure that in Ukraine, working with Ukraine, you will meet highest cybersecurity standards. So this is really important for developing IT and other industries. And also, I just wanted to mention that IT industry in Ukraine has a special tax regime. It's called DSIT, and it has really, really low employment tax and other incentives. This is very famous thing in Ukraine. Our government trying to promote this abroad. We have year residency program. So I think now nationals of 5 nations only applicable to year residency, but in future plans more nationals would be applicable there, and this DSIT combining with year residency makes a really good match. So it's maybe a possibility to see Ukrainian IT industry not as a relocation, but as a complementary IT hub or IT part of the business, which can combine with your local supply chain, with your local activities, and because of this combination, both parties can benefit. Renewable energy, also very dynamically developing sector in Ukraine, in Europe, in Scotland, and in Ukraine, our green agenda in energy sector is developing not only because of our needs of transition to sustainable energy sources, but also because our, let's call them, traditional energy sources were damaged by aggressor. But still, this is an opportunity, and right now, I think already for maybe half of the year, we have very, very stable energy supply. And the development of renewable energy is playing a crucial part here. So we manage on a country level to build so much capacity, so to sustain sustainable operations of Ukrainian business, of Ukrainian industries, and of people normal life. And also it is still a lot of room for investments here, and just want to highlight this sector. Okay, just a quick update on Ukrainian global ranking. Ukraine has very good position in few ranks. I would just name, for example, Government Development Index. Ukraine has 30th place in the whole world. We really have a lot of our government is really digitalized. We have our passport in our phone. We have a lot of governmental procedure digitalized, and we are aligning here with European agenda on easing of doing business, on making less bureaucracy, and our level of digitalizing is really high. So it's just a quick hint that it also would be very easy to start doing business in Ukraine, to do business in Ukraine, because everything is really digitalized. I would say also just one quick thing regarding Ukrainian reconstruction principles. Everyone in Ukraine agrees on one single principle, that Ukraine need to build back better. We do not building back what was. We are trying to build with new standards, with new technologies, with new ideas, and this is really a unique opportunity to build back better. And this is like you can hear this phrase on every level, everywhere, and also I think it's quite a chance for collaboration to bring in ideas and new technologies for rebuilding Ukraine. I already covered Ukrainian few industries. Also, Ukraine is a big country, and we have like almost all industries presented in Ukraine, and they are all big. And I think we now have on this webinar representatives from different industries, so I would not cover like in detail every industry, but if you have specific question regarding, I don't know, agri sector or pharmaceuticals or some other sector, maybe please write in the chat your question, and we will try to answer a specific question. Just a quick reminder about UK and Ukraine cooperation in terms of trade. We have UK-Ukraine trade agreement, UK-Ukraine digital trade agreement. We have very good initiative Tech Bridge for startups and IT sector, and we have UK-Ukraine business bridge. All these initiatives are doing really great and enhance our mutual trade and collaboration in respective sectors. And because of these agreements, businesses from Ukraine and businesses from United Kingdom can really benefit within mutual collaboration. So if you need more information, I think it is included into our guide, which we presented during mission, and I will give a QR code for it later, but also there are a lot of information on these programs online. But if you have particular question, please ask. We will try to answer it. And also we have UK-Ukraine 100-year partnership agreement, which has a lot of important things, and which really highlights the strategic partnership between Ukraine and UK, our closest ally and supporter. Also, I would like to cover a few recovery initiatives. As you may know, World Bank is doing every 6 months, I think, rapid damage and needs assessment. So by last, and unfortunately, it's the numbers are growing from edition to edition. So by last rapid damage and needs assessment, Ukraine need 524 billion US dollars for reconstruction. This is a huge amount. This and no aid can cover it. And so our main understanding as a business community in Ukraine that Ukraine can be recovered and reconstructed only with support of private sector, and with when private sector will invest in Ukraine, when private sector will work with Ukraine, when Ukraine will be available for broader business cooperation, only then our reconstruction can be done in needed speed and in needed volume. So the role of the private sector is crucial. Also, I wanted, Andrii already also covered a little bit this this topic, but I want to add regarding the opportunities of Ukraine recovery. So I divided on this slide 3 layers of Ukraine recovery, let's say that. So it is a state level, municipal level, and private sector level. And there are business opportunities for Scottish business or for any other foreign business on all these 3 levels. State can be a purchaser of services or goods to reconstruct, to finance their projects. Ukrainian municipalities also have their own reconstruction agenda and plans, and they also can be they can purchase what they need. And the private sector also in Ukraine is taking part in Ukraine recovery and also developing and is looking for partners abroad. And as Andrii said, we have now reform on our public investments, and with international support from international financial institutions, this reform is going in a really good speed, and we hope that reconstruction will continue with high quality and build it better. But on the level of private sector, the opportunity is much more bigger. Andrii's team and a lot of other advisors in Ukraine are working hardly now with Ukrainian private sector to prepare so our private sector be more ready to work with international counterparts, because we have quite still low capacity of Ukrainian private sector in terms of international cooperation, not a lot of experience, not a lot of examples, and so just to mention that Ukrainian private sector also developing very, very fast, and we have now a lot of opportunities, and there will be much more opportunities in future. So just stay tuned. I'm sure there will be a lot of information in future. Andrii already said a little bit about Dream platform. I would just add that in Ukraine we have approximately 1,500 municipalities, and this is really big number, and each municipality can be a client, can be a customer, can be a partner, so really opportunities are huge here. Just to show you map of investment risk zones in Ukraine. It is based on deep state map of our battlefield. So we put here not only our front line, we also think that borders with Belarus and with Moldovan part, which is also occupied by Russia, Transnistria also may be at higher risks, but still Ukraine is a big country, and there are territories which are completely, not completely safe, but I don't know, 90% safer than other territories, and which are now, for example, discussing at a really high level of opening an airports and some other measures which have a straight way to normality, to normal business life. For example, we already have one region in Ukraine which do not have curfew, and it's on the western part, and now also Western regions are speaking with our government to easing in martial law there, because risks are lower. and to attract businesses. But also I would say that this what is marked orange and light red, which we call frontline region. Also, we should not underestimate these territories. A lot of businesses are there, a lot of people there, and a lot of real also material there, and a lot of investment potential. And now, also thanks to international community, international financial institutions, more and more risk insurance programs are arriving, are announcing, and I think investments in these regions is becoming more viable with a combination of different financial instruments, us from Ukraine and from international financial institutions. Ukraine facility. This is our main financial instrument to support of private sector. It is announced by European Union, but not only European countries are applicable here. The main for private sector is Pillar 2. It is a major instrument to support Ukrainian private sector. There are a lot of mechanisms within this pillar to grants, loans, collaterals, and other things. So this program will be until 2027, and right now there is a second call for companies which want to invest in Ukraine more than 50 million. I think the limit of the program starts from 50 million, but there will be more other calls, and a lot of opportunities lies within Ukraine facility. Also, more information on this program is in our guide and other materials. Okay, I will skip key sectors. So it's just a small illustration of how Ukraine, either Ukrainian project or international projects in Ukraine, or joint venture between Ukrainian company and international company, how it can be financed. So in Ukraine we have our own financial instruments, so it's not like a rule, but advice, and up to 3 million euros. So if your project is within this limit, it's better to go and look for Ukrainian financial instruments. So from 3 to 7 or to 10, it's better to use instruments from your own country, but from 10 million, it's better to go to some international financial institutions. Okay, we have a map of investment opportunities of Ukraine, which was done by European Business Association, Global Business for Ukraine, together with Ukraine Invest, its Ukraine Investment Promotion Office. There are a lot of interesting projects there, so you can just go and look. It's divided by sectors, by regions, whether you're interested in I don't know, in poultry production, fish production, or wood industry. So a lot of different projects there with real contact details. So, and we can match you with project author. And this is Ukraine guide to Ukraine for Scottish private sector, for investors, or just for any person who's interested in Ukraine business environment. Please download it. We update this information in this guide recently, so please use this handbook. Also, we have a guide to public procurements in Ukraine, as a lot of people ask how to participate in our public procurement. And please use this guide, and who wants to travel to Ukraine, please, you're more than welcome. Travel to Ukraine is a little bit tricky now. let's be fair. So we make this guide how to buy tickets, which train pass or other mean of transport can be used. As you may know, we do not have air connection now. Benefits are clear. First movers, first comers to Ukraine will be benefited, and Ukraine has a lot of opportunities to collaborate with Scottish business, and from which these opportunities Scottish business can be can prosper, and it can be really profitable. Yeah, there are some risks, but everyone is working hard to make these risks manageable. We would just recommend platforms like NAZOVNI, Dream platforms, map of investment opportunities, which I showed to slide before, Ukraine Invest, our export promotion office. All these platforms give you a really, really comprehensive overview about Ukraine. So my personal advice, just to first start with gathering information, then maybe try to find a customer and try to sell your good or service to Ukraine, just to understand how it's possible. And if your trade activities is good, then please think about investing in Ukraine, creating joint venture, opening an office, a subsidiary in Ukraine, and using this easy, obvious three-step approach, I think your risks with entering Ukraine will be mitigated. Last but not least, in a few weeks' time, we will have our main event, Ukraine Recovery Conference. It will be held in Rome this year. So also please stay tuned. A lot of new information will be announced during this conference. Information regarding grants, support, financing programs for private sector. So there will be more opportunities after the conference. And of course, BDO in Ukraine is here on the ground. We are ready to help you with all information requests, with business services, with opening office, with finding the right partner or land plot or any other request which you may have. So please contact us with your request, and we will try to help. Thank you very much. If that's all from my side, if you have any question.
Thank you so much, Vira. We have only comments that the guides are very helpful and excellent for the Scottish film firms. Thank you so much for the information that you have shared. As we can see, Ukraine is now in quite challenging times, but lots of opportunities exist, and we do very much encourage Scottish companies to use those opportunities while the others are maybe waiting, because indeed those companies will have lots of benefits. Let's proceed then. Let me invite Vyacheslav Petrashenko, a senior lawyer at BDO Ukraine. Vyacheslav specializes in corporate and commercial law. He has significant expertise in advising international businesses on navigating the complexities of Ukrainian legislation, especially in the context of war and martial law. Vyacheslav will share the peculiarities on doing business in Ukraine during the war, addressing the impact of martial law, currency controls that we have now in place, legal considerations for foreign businesses operating in Ukraine. He will also discuss labor safety risks and challenges faced by businesses. Vyacheslav, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. My presentation, I don't have the presentation. It should be someone need to help me with uploading it to the screen.
Yeah, just maybe a second, we'll see it. Yeah, we can see that.
Yes, next slide, please. Okay, I want to start first to discuss some dynamics of the legal regulation in Ukraine. Starting 2022, When the war started, the government introduced some immediate legal things and regulations. And for the past 3 years, we have some dynamics with the legal regulation during wartime. And we can see some trends now. In 2022, when the war started, the business was very quiet for a few months. The government immediately introduced restrictions on currency conversion, banking rules, expatriation of dividends, royalties, repayment of loans out of Ukraine. But at the same time, they introduced a lot of tax advantages to stimulate the business. For example, in 2022 and 2023, we had huge tax benefits for companies. They reduced the turnover tax from 5 to 2%. There was just a very small, tiny 2% tax on a business for small businesses. Then they gradually lifted restrictions on currency conversion and the banking rules, and they keep changing the tax legislation. So it's important to monitor the legislation updates during wartime, because the government is changing the legal landscape. So if we move to the next slide, please. Yes, regarding the very important thing about currency controls and foreign exchange controls, the government introduced in 2022 restrictions on repayment of dividends and repayment of loans, which was not very pleasant to foreign investors. But then the government moved to a new concept, and now the concept is a bit different. The concept now is that new money, new rules. In other words, if there is new investment, the old restrictions do not apply. For the new investment, there is no restriction on dividend. Old restrictions on dividend repayment don't apply, and the loan repayment restrictions also do not apply. So at the moment we have a rule that allows to repay dividends, but only starting 2024, and with limitations of €1 million per month. So if a new investor comes in now, the new investor will be able to repatriate dividends, which is very important for the new investors. The old investors, unfortunately, are still waiting to repatriate their retained earnings, which they earned before the war and in 2022 and 2023, not still allowed to pay dividends for these tax periods. On loans, similar situation, because the old loans on private shareholder loans, which were invested before the war, they're still not able to repay those loans. For the new loans, the new rules apply. New loans can be repaid. There are a few rules that the international financial institutions, they are not subject to those restrictions, obviously, EBRD and others. And also, acceleration of loan repayment is not possible. Next, please. Yeah, one other one is the set-offs are not allowed, which can be also some not very pleasant rule in Ukrainian currency rules at the moment, but investors should know all the rules before they make the decision. So set-offs is not possible now. There are some ways to go around this restriction, but generally there is a restriction that you cannot set off receivables and payables due in and out of Ukraine, because the concept is the government wants the money flow into Ukraine. The 183-day rule, that's an old rule, it's not new, is that money should come within 183 days to the Ukrainian bank account after export. all the goods should come within this period for imports. Next one, please. The tax changes. As I said, when the war started, the government immediately cut introduced more tax benefits and cut some taxes. Also introduced some exemptions for import, obviously for critical goods such as energy equipment, military goods. These tax privileges still are in place. However, we see the trend that the government is gradually removing the tax benefits. For example, at the moment, there is a tax benefit for import of solar panels for solar energy stations, but we expect this VAT exemption to expire this year, and it's not clear whether it will be extended further. The government also increased taxes, personal taxes a little bit from, there is a special military tax which is designed to finance military spending and which is paid by Ukrainian taxpayers, individuals. This tax was increased to 5%. We have CFC rules for foreign companies introduced also during wartime. Next, please. Okay, now Vera already covered this, mentioned about the special tax regime. I want to say also a few words about this tax regime because it's very special for Ukraine, maybe even unique. It was designed before the war started, and it was designed to stimulate and motivate Ukrainian IT industry, which was quickly developing. There is a law which was introduced before the war, but the regime itself started operating during the war in 2022. And companies which can opt this regime, it's an option, it's not an obligation. If a company operates in certain activities, initially the idea was to include only IT, principal IT activities such as software development, but gradually this list of activities was expanded and it's continuing to be expanded because now other industries also are eligible, such as defense tech, military tech industries are included, like the drones industry, R&D, research and development. For other industries such as pharmaceuticals can also this activity be eligible. So the reason why this special tax regime is popular because of the low tax rates for personal income. It's half the usual rate. The usual rate is 18% for personal income, but the employees and sorry, and contractors of these companies, they pay only 9% of their personal income. The social security tax is kept. There is also special exit capital tax, but in our experience, we don't see it's very popular yet. Another beauty of this tax regime, next slide, please. Another beauty of this tax regime, which is now actively used by many companies, is ability of the DSCT companies to book personnel from military conscription. It should be mentioned here that generally speaking, we have a duty, a military duty for most male population in the country. And basically, the rule is that all men between 25 and 60, they have this military duty. And unless they have some of the legal basis for exemption or for postponement of the military duty, they can be called to the military immediately. which makes business think hard about their staff and labor issues. And when business is planning their business activity, they want to know, make sure that some of the critical staff will not be called to the military. In the beginning of the war, when the staff was called to the military, the employers were still paying them salaries. It was changed immediately in 2022. The government said that there is no obligation to pay of the employers to pay salary to staff that was called to the military. However, the workplace or the employee should be on hold for the period he serves in the military. Then there are many other exceptions, such as 3 kids and students and some medical issues, but still the most important thing for the business is ability to book staff from military duty. And now most businesses use this opportunity. We now have about 1 million, according to statistics, people who are booked from the military duty. Usually it's for 1 year and it's renewable. Usually 50% staff, as a general rule, can be booked. But to be able to book people, staff from the military duty, the company should be recognized as one of the critical infrastructure company. And going back to the DSCT tax regime about the IT industry and military tech industry, these companies by default are qualified to be a critical infrastructure company. And it's very, very beneficial for these companies. Next one, please. So here I talk briefly about criteria for critical infrastructure companies. There are many of them, but the principal 3 criteria is that the average salary should be, the minimum level is to 20,000 hryvnia, which is not big amount. Everyone is complying with this requirement, more or less. There should be no tax debts. That's also not very critical requirement. And the third one is there should be at least 1 criteria satisfied. And as I said, DSCT resident regime by default qualified for the third criteria. And there are other criteria such as payment of taxes and foreign exchange earnings and some other defense companies. Special lists are approved by the government. So these companies apply, they get the critical infrastructure company status. It can be any private company with foreign shareholders as well, and they're able to book 50% of their male staff. In such case, the booked staff, they have many advantages. They can travel abroad on business trips. Usually, Ukrainian males cannot travel abroad, but the booked employees of critical infrastructure company can. So essentially, these companies enjoy business as usual, more or less, in the time of war, and they can do their business. That's part of the policy of the government to make the economy work during the war, and to give the companies, white companies operating in critical industries such as energy, IT, defense, to operate, to make profit, and to continue their business. So next, please. I won't here go into much detail about starting the business. It's usual is in any country. Usually we use limited liability company, which can be set up by 1 shareholder, foreign shareholder. One thing I would like to add is that we have rules about disclosure of ultimate beneficial owners, UBOs. I think it's similar in the UK. In some other countries, because the company register contains and discloses information about who is the UBO. For public companies, it's easy. because if the public company is listed on a stock exchange, we just put in the register that we don't know who are the UBOs. It's a public company. With private companies, we need either to disclose the corporate holding structure of the company, of the holding company. It's easy when it's just a natural person who is a shareholder. In such case, we just put the natural person as the ultimate beneficial owner. But if it's a corporate structure with several layers of corporate holdings, we need to disclose these layers and who is behind them. The reason why Ukraine is very meticulous in this exercise is because we want to know, Ukraine wants to know that there are no Russians or Belarusians, the sanctioned persons, behind the corporate structures. That's why the Ukrainian registrar is monitoring the ownership structure. Next, please. Yeah. Next, please. Well, yeah, here I want to add that, we have employees and civil contractors, and for Dia City, especially, we have a special type of contractors, gig contractors. This is sort of civil contractors, but essentially they're employees in all senses. They pay less taxes. Same as employees. Important to know that only employees can be booked from military duty, not the civil contractors. Next, please. With taxation, not much changed since the start of the war. Still same taxes apply. Corporate tax is 18%. Personal income tax is also 18%. There is, as I said, military surcharge, personal tax of 5%. Social tax is 22%, which is paid employers on top. And in this sense, not much changed, but we see that the government is trying to find sources of budget revenues. And there is expectation that there may be some ongoing tax legislation reforms later this year or next year. Next. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. I think I covered. One more thing to cover is that labor safety rules in times of war. Generally, there is also an issue about shelters and air alerts, and the employers should be wary of this requirement that if there is air alert, the staff should go to the shelter. That's a basic requirement. And the shelter should be somewhere close. Okay, thank you. That's pretty much it. If you have any questions.
Vyacheslav, thank you very much. We have two brief questions to you, if you may. One from Vasil is, how long does it take for the company after its registration to get the critical status?
Okay, I think it should be at least one tax period, because the company should be in existence for at least one tax period. We have quarterly tax period for corporate tax. We have monthly tax periods for personal income taxes. So the company should be registered. It should be in the company register. It should start submitting tax returns. And after the first tax returns is submitted, it already can start the process. So not immediately after registration. And how long it takes, it depends, because we have several ministries responsible for this status. The most efficient one, we have the Ministry of Digital Transformation, Digital Ministry. That's the ministry that is giving critical status to IT companies, the Dia City companies. That's very quickly. They are very efficient, and many IT companies got this status. There are now about 400 or 500 Dia City companies in the Ministry of Digital Transformation. There are other ministries, like the Ministry of Finance, Minister of Strategic Industries. They gave the critical status to their respective companies. And I'm not sure about these ministries. I think it takes a few months. Generally, the critical infrastructure status is equivalent for 1 year, and you can book stuff also for 1 year, and it's renewable. And the government is making it trying to make the procedure very quick and less bureaucratic. In the start of the war, it was very bureaucratic. Now it's more digitalized.
Okay, thank you very much. And another one from Emma. What are the penalties for the late or incorrect tax filings?
Okay, let's first say, I want to say that we have for corporate tax, it's either quarterly or yearly report. Smaller companies, they file yearly report if their income is a bit less than 1 million USD. They submit yearly report, annual basis. Otherwise, it's quarterly reports. The report should be submitted within 40 days after the end of the period. If there is no tax underpayment, if the report is submitted late, but essentially there is no tax underpayment, there is no penalty for tax underpayment. There is just penalty for late submitting of the report, which is quite small, in the range of I think 1,000 hryvnia, about 30 euros or something. That's just for the late filing of the report. But if there is late filing of the report triggered the late payment of the tax or the incorrect calculation of the tax, there may be also penalty for tax underpayment. But if the taxpayer detects this underpayment itself and submits the corrected adjusted tax return and pays the tax, there is just 3% surcharge on the late tax underpayment if it's corrected by the taxpayer.
Thank you so much, Vyacheslav, for your presentation and clarifications. Let's move on to our next speaker, who is Oksana Ocheretiana. Oksana is a deputy chair of the management board at the Export Credit Agency of Ukraine. Oksana has an experience in the field of investment, insurance, and foreign trade financing, and she will explain to us today how these insurance programs can help mitigate risks and ensure investment protection, especially in sectors like infrastructure and energy. Oksana, you are welcome.
Yuliya, thank you so much for this introduction. Yes, that's right. I'm a deputy CEO of Ukrainian Export Credit Agency, and today I will tell you not about all of our products, but the products that you probably will be more interested in. So, at the end of 2023, the government decided to enlarge the scope of our activity by adding to the list of our activities 2 new products. The first one is the insurance of investment loans. Those are the loans that are given to Ukrainian entities, not specifically exporters, just an entities, who are about to create export facilities. This is something that, this is the loan that can be used for the different purposes. It can be, for example, we already supported to clients. For example, the one, it was in order to buy a generator to continue or to create export. And the second loan was given in order to buy equipment to produce noodles. In those 2 cases, we insured the loan. So in this, under this product, our client is a bank. Maybe for you to understand better, I have just one slide that will explain to you better. Just a second, I will try to share. There's something. There is an insurance of investment loan, like I said, and there is an insurance of direct investment. Both those products were created with the main purpose to promote investment to Ukraine and within Ukraine. So we can support an entity that is already in Ukraine by insuring investment loan, or we can ensure the investment, also the foreign investor, also the Scottish investor, who are going to invest in Ukraine in creating export facility. We launched, it took us some time to do those products. We were in a close communication with foreign ACAs because we had to learn how to learn the best practice. So all those products, they are done with the huge support from our colleagues from other ACAs. Let me go down through those two products more specifically. So, under the first product, like I mentioned, we covered the loan given to Ukrainian entity related to investment in creation of facility and infrastructure. Well, as we are an export credit agency, everything that we support, it has to lead to the export. Under this product, our client is a bank, and we cover war and political risks. So under this product, we cover the losses caused by unpayment under the condition that unpayment of the principal happened because of one or several war or political risks. We have the list of those risks adopted by the resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers. This resolution appeared in April last year, and we are following this resolution. On the next slide, I have the whole list of those war risks. And at the end of my presentation, I will show it to you. And of course, you can have this presentation just for you in order to understand what kind of cover can we offer. And there are some, I'll come back to insurance of direct investment. Under the insurance of direct investment, we cover the investment itself, the amount or remittance equity, and we also can cover dividends. Under this product, we cover an investor. It can be also a legal entity, it can be a physical person, it can be a resident of Ukraine, it can be a foreigner, it can also be even a government. So for us, it doesn't matter. It's someone who is doing investment in export facilities in Ukraine. As you can see at the slide, the list of covered risks is the same for both products. The difference lies in what we are covering, what types of losses. Under the direct investment, we cover the loss caused by, for example, expropriation, the loss of operational inability that leads to the decrease of equity of the investee. But we cover the interest of investors. What is interesting about those products? Those special requirements. First, the investee has to be located on the territory of Ukraine. For example, currently, like Vira said, we have a lot of offers from classical insurance companies. Ukrainian insurance companies, they already cover the property risks in Ukraine, but they cover the property that is located almost on the whole territory of Ukraine, except, for example, and then it depends, it's up to the insurance company. It can be a limitation up to not closer than 50 kilometers up to front line, not closer than 100 kilometers up to front line, and so on. We don't have that kind of limitation, so we can cover an investment into the investee, even if the investee is really close to the front line, because one of the risks that we cover is the risk of occupation. So we absolutely understand that this risk is especially needed as closer to the front line. The second special requirement is that the purpose of this direct investment in both cases has to be a creation of facilities and infrastructure necessary for the development of manufacturing industry and export of goods, work, services of Ukrainian origin. So under those products, we unfortunately, for example, we cannot support the investment into social infrastructure, hospitals, something like that, because our main purpose is to support and to increase the export from Ukraine to abroad. Well, because we are talking today also about the energy and infrastructure, so it means that under those products, first of all, we are aimed to support the building of infrastructure, but just in order to support future export. Regarding the energy, we don't have limitations, except we cannot support the energy itself, because we had this type of application. The issue is that a Ukrainian Export Credit Agency, it's actually the third special requirements. The goods, works and services that are to be exported as the result of investment, they must meet the requirements of our main law, the law on ACA. ACA Ukraine can provide support only to value-added goods, but there are no restrictions on services. So, for example, as a result, currently in our portfolio, we are mainly already supported the export of furniture, of grocery, dairy, clothes, something like that. Okay, now the main question, how we are doing, how we assess the risk, how we are doing in underwriting, and how much it costs. As for investment loan insurance, of course, underwriting is individual. The risk is assessed based on country risk, because it's under this product we cover loans. So mainly we are looking at the statistic of NLP of Ukrainian banks. So we are looking at the Ukraine. As for insurance rate, as I said, we already supported two projects. And for example, one of the contracts has been concluded with the yearly insurance rate 0.9. I think it's quite acceptable. As for the insurance of investment, the price is really depends on the region. Of course, we take into consideration the region of Ukraine where the investee is located. The production facilities, well, the main purpose of this investee, type of activity of this investee, and currently we didn't conclude any policy because we faced the fact that quite often the amounts that are need to be supported is bigger, but we have some potential clients, so we are in the process of underwriting. But as for our calculation, the price can be from 0.49% yearly up to 8%. This is how we see it, and this is how we are ready to cover. This is the list of war and political risk. There is a list of war risk. It's the risk of political violence with some damage on the property. So it can be military conflict, war, armed aggression, hostiles, mass riots. The violent change of or overthrow of the constitutional order. The third one is the terrorism, and the fourth one is occupation or annexation. Well, those risks are based on Ukrainian legislation, because in the future, when we will set up the claim, we need to follow the documents. So this is how mainly, well, recently I talked to some colleagues from the ACA, and they asked us whether it's a problem to settle the claim. And I said no, because Ukraine, unfortunately, Ukrainian insurance industry has a lot of experience with settling the claim. And by experience, I'm meaning that we already know what kind of documents we may have from Ukrainian government services, from the police, and so on and so on. So all those risks are based, and they are really close to Ukrainian legislation. Coming back to the list, under political risk, we can cover the compulsory alienation of property. It's like an expropriation, but again, it's specified in this way because this is mainly how it sounds under Ukrainian law. Unreasonable or illegal revocation of a license, of course, it has to be supported by the decision of the court. Failure or refusal of the state to fulfill its obligation. For example, I've listened to Vira's presentation, and she mentioned the law on the support of big investments in Ukraine. For example, if there are some obligations of the government on supporting this type of investment, and the state was failed to to fulfill those obligations, we can cover this risk as well. For example, if the state imposes a ban on payments, and the second one, they are connected. It's impossibility of currency conversion to transfer abroad by a business entity. We know that there are some currency restrictions from National Bank of Ukraine, but we still can cover if there will be changes into this. For example, if the restrictions will come back. So actually, we can say that it's an interesting thing in covering war and political risk being in the state of war and some political disturbance. We actually, you can see it this way, that we cover the increasing. For example, if those requirements will be more tough. So this is the main thing I wanted to tell you, that there are also internal instruments in order to support investment. Of course, we recommend to combine our products, especially if, for example, Scottish company is represented in Ukraine with the Ukrainian entity, then we can tell you more, and we have more various products in order to support you. Thank you, and I'm just, if you have some questions, I'm open to hear.
Thank you so much, Oksana, for your detailed presentation. If we can share then with the registered participants, that would be nice, and also with the contacts.
Sure.
Thank you so much. And yes, last but not least, the presenter for today, I am very glad to welcome Paul Denning. Paul is the Group Services Director at Cairnhill Structures, a Scotland-based structural steel fabricator. Paul will share with us the company's experience of cooperation with Ukraine during the war. He will discuss the challenges of operating in Ukraine and how company have been involved in the rebuilding of 3 bridges in Kyiv region. And also we would like to thank Paul and his team for welcoming the Ukrainian delegation in May, consisting of mayors and businesses, to the Cairnhill facilities near Glasgow. That was a very valuable experience for the representatives of the mayors and businesses. So thank you very much for that, and you're welcome to have your presentation today.
Thank you very much, everybody. Yes, it's been a fantastic journey. And the sort of the instant introduction is to say it's taken me 2 years from initially identifying these as an opportunity to actually cutting steel. So it's been a very long process, but it's very fair to say that actually it continues to be a fantastic opportunity for the business. It's created a huge amount of interest, not just externally. You know, there's a lot of people that rightly take a great deal of interest in the fact that we're physically delivering something for Ukraine, but also internally within the business, it's created a significant amount of interest. People really feel that they're turning up to do something to really contribute towards society by making 2 bridges that are going to make a significant improvement to the locals around Kyiv. So I'll put together a short presentation both about Cairnhill, but also about what we're doing for these 2 bridges. Started off as 3, 1 was repaired, and then it's 2 new assemblies. So Cairnhill is probably, you know, if people know of Cairnhill, they think of us as a fabrication business, but actually we do so much more than simply just fabrication. We can do actual design, temporary works design, contribute to value engineering, produce our own fabrication drawings, then physically go make a product, and then we can go to site and do the installation. But the business is always growing and developing. We're starting a whole new sort of inspection division, which is with the science of measurement is metrology. So Cairnhill Metrology, or CMET, is a business that's growing out of other clients that want products to be measured to a very high standard. But we also have, and bring in this sort of products section, the second item down, D-wall, potentially might be of interest because it's a modular building system that originally was intended for radiological shielding, but also has fantastic blast capabilities. And therefore, if there's a requirement somewhere in Ukraine for a blast-resistant structure, then D-wall isn't a product that says it's so many millimeters thick. It is a design concept, so it can be adjusted design to the requirements of the situation. But our two key bridges, Vyshgorod and Makarov. So the Vyshgorod is the one that we're currently delivering, and goes over that waterway because of the therefore the constraints of the local geography means that it's causing a great disruption to the local community, and therefore they're very eagerly keen to see the Vyshgorod bridge being re-established. Both bridges are actually originally wholly concrete structures, and we're making, as a steelwork fabricator, we're making steelwork replacement beams. So actually, by our standards, they're a relatively small bridge beam. So they're about 1 meter deep, and they're sort of 12, 9, 6 meter long plate girders. As it says, originally part of a 3 bridges project, supported by the UK government in terms of export finance guarantee, and one bridge was just repaired without the need of any additional steelwork. It's just these two, Vyshgorod and Makarov. Originally, the scheme was to supply a Bailey bridge, a temporary, or Bailey bridges for both, totally temporary structures that would probably last 10 or 15 years, and then which wasn't an opportunity for Cairnhill. But when the client changed their mind and said they wanted permanent structures, rightly, good idea. So the British contractor that was going to supply these temporary bridges said, we don't make permanent bridges, and that finally created the opportunity for Cairnhill. They're very similar. It's a road bridge, like maybe any European road bridge. It's a very standard structure, and the only real difference that is created by this project, as opposed to we were doing something very similar within the UK, is it's clearly much colder in Ukraine in the winter, and therefore the design of the steel grade needs to be capable of working in that lower temperature. But apart from that, it's a very standard sort of nothing complicated. But it's the reason that Cairnhill is given this fantastic opportunity is because the UK government is providing the export finance guarantee that requires some UK content, and that's Cairnhill. And as we've already said, that we had a fantastic visit a couple of weeks ago. So a photograph of the delegation visiting us on a particularly rainy day, unfortunately, but very Scottish weather. And then you can see the picture on the right is where a lot of the delegates actually signed the beams before they're en route to Ukraine. So the first load went about 3 weeks ago, and second load 2 weeks ago, and there's another load that's just left. So quite a bit of steel work en route. As I've said, experience is it's taken a very long time, not because we're actually in contract with a Turkish contractor. They're the sort of the principal contractor that's delivering the work for the Ukrainian Ministry of Infrastructure, and we are their subcontractor supplying the steelwork. It's not because of the Turkish contractor ourselves. It was really the Ukrainian government agreeing to release the finance by the British bank that took the time to get that authorised and approved. But it's as I said, the engineering that was designed in Ukraine and produced a very capable and competent design, absolutely standard sort of structure. It's been very easy to work with them. There's subtle differences between inspection, between what we would do maybe in the UK, what the Ukrainian client requires. We've identified that, and clearly we're delivering it to the Ukrainian standard. But it's taken a huge amount of persistence and determination between everybody to get this across the line. But what's the future? Well, we recognise that the UK costs are different to many other parts of the world, and that we have been successful because of that UK content requirement. So I've been pressing the UK BEIS Ministry to extend their support onto other projects, and up until very, very recently, they've been saying no, it is not into infrastructure. But literally in the last couple of weeks, they haven't categorically changed their mind, but whereas they've previously been saying it's not on the agenda, now fantastically they're saying they will start considering other projects. So the UK government has changed or appears to be changing its policy. So we are really trying to find, what they've asked us to do is to identify other opportunities, other projects that are required, so that we can take that to them and then they can consider their financial support. So to the wider audience that's here, we're actively looking to try and find, we understand there's hundreds of bridges, clearly not all of those that can be repaired by Cairnhill, but we can make a contribution into that redevelopment. We'll be very pleased to do so, but we've got to start hunting for projects and trying to work with the UK government to provide that support, which we will gladly do. Just a little bit of explanation on other things that Cairnhill's done and other bridge projects. So a recent project that we did in northern England, in Leeds, but those girders there were 43 meters long. So and there was 3 pairs of girders at 43 meters long. So a big fabrications on a bigger scale than we're needing to do for the Ukrainian bridges. We work in the rail sector, be those footbridges, over rail, the overhead power cables, structural supports, or station bridges, and then bridges that the trains themselves run over. So other bridge projects, effectively any bridge, we're qualified in the UK for manufacturing of any bridge structure, and they will actively be pursuing any bridges that we can find in Ukraine. So, sorry, now computer going to fast forwarding, but we don't just do bridges. We're a very diversified business doing lots of other things, and actually probably 50% of the work of the business is within either the nuclear sector or the UK defence sector. So these are pictures of other structures that were done from top left, a part of a nuclear submarine manufacturing facility, to the bottom centre, the yellow ring, is a structure required for decommissioning at Sellafield, which is the UK's store for spent nuclear waste. Bottom left is one of 4 very similar fabrications that were built for the Hinkley, the current being constructed nuclear power station in the southwest of England. And the bottom right is a project that we've just finished to tie up. They're actually called catamarans, but they're a floating pontoon to everybody else. But they're to tie up Britain's nuclear-powered submarines in their local base. We have a long heritage of working in the UK's nuclear sector, building anything from shield doors to new infrastructure in Sellafield. Many of the old reactor sites we've done some work on at some point or other, but we've got a long heritage of working in the UK's nuclear sector. This is our facility. The sort of the blue, the coloured version around the sort of black and white around it. It's a 10-acre site. We recently acquired the area, the bottom sort of triangle at the bottom right-hand corner, which has allowed us to start building more manufacturing facilities on the original site. So as a business, we're ever growing and expanding. We own outright the site that you've just seen, but we rent another couple of facilities, one of which has a quayside facility. So if there was something that's beyond road transport, therefore has got to be delivered by sea, that's what we do in that location. We manufacture sub-assemblies up to sort of maximum road transportable size at Sunworks, and then take them to the quayside facility to transport. But that's us. I can gladly provide the presentation that can be circulated to anybody that's interested for contact details, etc.
Thank you so much, Paul. It is so nice to see that the existing projects are already going ahead between Ukraine and Scottish, and so nice to see that the Scottish companies are having active businesses in Ukraine, which is really nice. We have a question from India McCartney, but I will ask the colleagues from BDO to answer it after we will finish. We are unfortunately out of time, and I would love to invite again Scott Strain for concluding remarks from the Scottish government. If Scott is still here with us, just to finish our discussion on how the cooperation between Ukraine and Scottish government and businesses can proceed further. Scott?
Excellent. Thank you so much. I found a fascinating couple of hours, time very well spent. And thank you to everyone for putting forward such comprehensive presentations there. A lot of information for us to take away and absorb. And I think there might well be appetite for follow-up discussions, maybe more specific to certain sectors and opportunities in the future. So I think this is a great way of us getting to understand that the operation, the opportunities for collaboration in Ukraine. Certainly, going forward, we still have a working group that's going to be meeting every couple of weeks to progress live opportunities as we see them in Ukraine. We are also actively looking at the Rebuild Ukraine conference in Warsaw in November, and I will be speaking this afternoon to some of the organisers on that about what we can do to bring Scottish businesses to that conference and to present and meet some Ukrainian counterparts and look at opportunities for collaboration there. So that will involve ministers too. So we really are seized of the opportunities that Ukraine is presenting. We are taking them very seriously, and only I think it was last week the Cabinet Secretary Robertson briefed the Scottish Cabinet on your recent visit here to Scotland and what the future of collaboration could look like. So there's much still to do, but it's a wonderful journey to be on, and we look forward to working with you on it.
Yes, thank you so much for your kind support of Ukraine. This is very much appreciated, and the Scottish government, the UK government are very supportive, and we do very much hope for a very successful cooperation between the two countries. Thank you all of the participants, all of the speakers and presenters. I do believe that the information was valuable. The organizers will share the recordings and the presentations of those ones who will provide them. And let's hope for a great future for both countries, Ukraine, the UK, and Scotland included. Have a wonderful day and see you soon. Bye-bye.